Good afternoon. Welcome to Friendship Shaving for another shave related chat this Remembrance Sunday. The 11th hour has passed and the last post has played, and it has been 100 years since the end of the First World War. Now, last year I did a commemorative shave to remember my grandfathers, Harry, who fought in Belgium, and Cyril, who fought in France. And I told you a very personal story, Cyril's story, and I felt today that I didn't have too much to add to that story. And indeed, the razor that I used for last year's shave was a Gillette 1918 single ring old type razor, and unfortunately I passed that on, hoping to get a better one for this year, and I'm afraid that just hasn't happened. I hope by next year I will have a razor made between 1914 and 1918, and hopefully I'll be able to do a commemorative shave again. I've been wondering if Gillette made razors in the UK during that period, or whether my grandfathers may have only had available to them razors from British companies. It is something that seems to be not very well documented, and I'm trying to find out a little more about it. But I did feel it wouldn't be appropriate to have a commemorative shave for my grandfathers just using any old razor. It has to be of that time period. I would love a Gillette, obviously, but I'll look into that, and perhaps next year you'll see me do a commemorative shave again. Now, while I haven't got a shave for you on this Remembrance Sunday, I have got something that I would like to read at the end of the video. It will be a little poem by Siegfried Sassoon, one of the wartime poets, and in my opinion he is the best wartime poet, so I hope you'll listen in for that. Now, I've got my coffee with me today again, and I'd just like to say thank you for your response to the last shave related chat video. It was very well received. I was a bit nervous about putting it out, so thank you very much. I had some great suggestions for areas I might look into that would make an interesting and informative video. Now, I've written down all of your suggestions, but I've got a couple that I'd just like to mention. So it's been suggested that I might look at razor blade coatings and how they affect the skin, and what effect multiple coatings have on a razor blade. I think I'm going to write to a company that produces razor blades. That seems to be the most sensible idea and the best way to get that information. I'll keep you informed as I explore this more. For myself, I know that I take a razor blade out of my Old Spice mug, and I have the ones that I like and I know which ones I don't like, but I don't pay too much attention to the coatings, and I thought that was a very interesting suggestion. I know that I do like my Voshgods, which are Teflon coated, and I do like my Rapira Platinum Luxe, made in the same factory. I like those in a more aggressive razor, but other than that, I've a lot to explore on that topic. So that's a really good suggestion. It's also been suggested that I could have a non-too technical analysis of a DE razor design, focusing on the interplay of blade gap, blade exposure and angle, and how they are key to providing an efficient shave. It has been pointed out in the comments section that it is only usually blade gap that is mentioned when talking about a razor's aggressiveness or efficiency. I'm particularly interested in how that efficiency changes and how their blade gap and blade exposure might change on an adjustable razor. So I've a little bit of learning to do there myself, but again, another very interesting topic. And finally, just in these little tasters, it's been suggested, excuse me a moment, I'm getting a little croaky. It's been suggested that I might look at the properties of oils that are used in soaps and how they affect the soap, and especially with regard to vegan soaps. So I certainly aim to do that. I've some very good suggestions. And a gentleman called Eduardo Ferreira, and I hope I've pronounced your name correctly, sir, asked me some questions, and it gave me the idea to have a questions and answer video. This might be particularly useful to those of you that are new to DE shaving, or shaving with a single edged razor perhaps, but I thought that I'd put that out to you. So if you have any questions, perhaps I might be able to answer them. I'm making you no promises there, but I will certainly try my best. So just an idea, if you have any questions, please either email me or drop them in the comments section below. Now, my coffee today is a Percol blend called All Day Americano, and it is very chocolatey. There's a shaving related link here because I've been sent some soap by my friend Billy. You've heard me mention Billy before, the Brighton shaver. He is a very generous gentleman, and one of the soaps I've got is some Sterling Barbershop soap, and I have never smelled anything like this before. It smells chocolatey. You can see from the look of it, it doesn't look much like a barbershop soap. It has a vanilla scent and a kind of milk chocolatey scent, and I wondered if any of you have used this soap and what you think of it, because it is a strange barbershop scent. And well, I'd just like to say thank you to Billy. Thank you very much. Now I've got some interesting information about a new Gillette razor. I'll put the link to the article from Gillette in the description to this video. Gillette are bringing out a new razor called the Gillette Skin Guard razor. It is going to be a 2-blade cartridge razor, so they are really taking a retrograde step back to a 2-blade cartridge razor. The reason they are doing this, according to the literature, is that they have redesigned it to trim hair at the surface level, and therefore taking away the tug and pull action of a razor. And there are some interesting statistics that they quote. It says that 40% of men shave with hot water. So that implies that 60% shave with cold water, which I think is really quite interesting. I had a cold water shave yesterday, and I do find that, not that I prefer it, but my face prefers it. So I know some of you out there are cold water aficionados, but they also mention statistics about perceived confidence and perceived attractiveness for men that suffer quite badly with skin irritation and lumps and bumps and razor burn. It seems, as we know, being DE shavers, that problems are quite common when using a cartridge razor. Now, I wrote to Gillette. I went on the Gillette UK website and found the contact me email option, and this is part of the reply that I received. It says, "We have logged your interest in remakes of old classic razors to be passed down to our relevant departments." So I was very pleased that they responded to my question of whether they would produce anniversary editions of their loved razors, and have passed that on. It makes me wonder, seeing as they've taken a retrograde step with a cartridge razor, will they go further back and produce a vintage Gillette razor or a new Gillette double-edged safety razor? Now that would be something. Perhaps you might contact them yourselves and ask the question. But I'll certainly be trying out the Gillette Skin Guard cartridge razor when it comes in. My first razor was a twin blade cartridge razor, although mine was a Wilkinson sword. But I thought that was very interesting, and the article that I'll include does make quite interesting read. Now, the reason that Gillette moved to a cartridge system was because they were losing a large percentage of their market share. Their great strategy was to provide a free or cheap razor with the razor blades, and it was the razor blades that was their revenue. Now, back in the day, other companies started to make razor blades and sell them cheaper than Gillette could, and of course those razor blades would fit a Gillette razor. Now, it's made me wonder, because these days there are lots of people that are producing cartridge razors. Harry's, Q-Shave, Bic, Dorco, to name just a few. And those cartridges are cheaper to buy than the Gillette cartridges. So it makes me wonder if this is why Gillette are looking at a reinvention of their cartridge razor. Perhaps they are losing a little bit of revenue to other companies, their competitors. I suppose if you're the company at the top of your game, there will always be others seeking to knock you off the podium. Now guys, I've won a giveaway in the last week, quite amazingly. If you don't know Kerry from Phoenix and Bow, he has been doing a Sunday afternoon video and having a couple of giveaways. And I actually won one, so I'd like to say thank you to Kerry and Sarah over at Phoenix and Bow. I've won the Star Noir set, and this is their tribute to David Bowie's favourite scent, which is a scent called Minotaur by Paloma Picasso. Now, I've not used or heard of that scent before. It is entirely new to me. But the Phoenix and Bow soap has top notes of jasmine, absolute, clary sage, bergamot and coriander, and the scents are anchored by layers of amber, musk, sandalwood, ylang ylang, benzoin and patchouli. Now, I'm expecting that there will be a little floral touch to that. It sounds very, very interesting indeed. I've not used Star Noir before. It will be entirely new to me, but I was very pleased to get that. It will be sent to me on the 1st of December, so by the time I get it, it will be a few days later, and you'll see it on my channel, and I'm really looking forward to using that. And I wondered if any of you have tried Star Noir. I may save that for my Christmas shave, but I haven't decided yet. Now, I think that has covered just about everything that I wanted to cover. You'll have noticed in the last video that I was talking about the synthetic brush that I was using, and I'd just like to say thank you to Dan, who has his own YouTube channel called Vintage Life. Now, Dan is a knowledgeable guy indeed, and I've got a couple of suggestions from Dan on a little bit of information. I've also been in contact with the people at DS Cosmetics, and this is one of their brushes. They apparently make OEM brushes for Moolah, amongst other people. This one is a very, very soft brush, and I'll be using that in my next shaving video. Now, I'd like to just leave you with a poem and a remembrance of my grandfather Harry. Now, Harry fought at Arras in Belgium, and underneath Arras, while the city was levelled by the bombing, underneath Arras there are medieval tunnels, and they got generators down there, and they were big enough so that the whole of the British and Commonwealth forces were able to be safe down there. They are apparently, and I've never seen them, but they are apparently quite a complex of tunnels. So they had briefing rooms, and the generals were down there, and the soldiers were safe down there until they went out to the front line. Now, this poem is called The General. It was written by Siegfried Sassoon at Denmark Hill Hospital in April 1917. And it was written about Arras. The General. "Good morning. Good morning," the General said when we met him last week on the way to the line. Now, the soldiers he smiled at are most of them dead, and we are cursing his staff for incompetent swine. "He's a cheery old card," grunted Harry to Jack, as they slogged up to Arras with rifle and pack. But he did for both of them with his plan of attack. Now, I thought that was particularly relevant because it mentions Harry, and of course it is based in Arras, and that hill as they slogged to Arras, well, Siegfried Sassoon was there. He would have known that. He would have marched that walk to Arras, and I thought that was really relevant to my grandfather. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time for a shave. My name's Mark. Thank you very much for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.